Welcome back to the Traders Network. Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, we're back with Jared Febbroriello, Secretary-Treasurer of Corporate Crowd Fund. Jared, thanks for coming back on the segment. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Now, when we left off, we were talking about how we've got regulation changes. We've got with this thing, this Jobs Act, we've been waiting for almost, 4 or 5 years for this thing to finally come to the point where people can use it.
I mean, it feels like that, but I don't think it's been quite that long. Maybe a little bit more than 2 now.
It feels like it's forever, dragging on and on and on. Then finally we can get to the point where people who actually thought what they were getting in the beginning can get equity in companies instead of a T-shirt or a coffee mug or a free pass to the yogurt shop. Can actually make some money on this deal. All right. Cost. When you go out to raise money, no matter what it is, there's a cost involved in this. Now, you've got a unique platform on the cost for capital formation on Corporate Crowd Fund. Talk to us about that for the people that are actually, one, raising the money, the companies that are getting on the platform, and two, what kind of cost is involved for, say, the investors trying to invest in the project. But let's start with the companies.
Sure. So, typically if you're a company, you go out to the investment banking community and you're going to pay anywhere from 5% on the low end to 10% on the high end to raise capital, which means that, the bank is going to basically use your company, to go out there to the market, and then they're just going to take 10% out of your pocket based on the hard work that you've done. So, at Corporate Crowd Fund, we don't necessarily like that model.
No, wait, there's not. That's just the back end, man. They charge you money up front to get that process started for the privilege, right?
This is true. You usually have a large retainer fee that you have to pay. You have to pay expenses as well. It's definitely a costly process.
And then I've heard tales of people that come to investment bankers and then they give them the upfront money, they sign the deal. Okay, so I raised $10 million, 10%. I get to give you what, $1 million, right?
Yeah.
And then 6-9 months later, they come back and they say, "Oh, the reason it's not selling is because you have a horrible company. We need to restructure the offering, and that's another fee."
Exactly.
Oh, geez. I mean, there is a lot of four horse race. That's different here with you. What's different?
Well, the difference is that our service is absolutely free. We don't charge investors. We don't charge companies. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is that we operate under a very limited safe harbor that we were introduced to by the SEC based on some informal interpretive advice that they've given us. But the second is that, we're trying to change the model here. We're trying to change the investment community. We're trying to eliminate the fees, and we want to be aligned with the companies and the investors that we bring into the site. Because, again, we're trying to build a community, a place where, companies that are good companies can go and get funded and investors can make money.
So the investor's capital doesn't get clipped. It goes straight to the company. Then they send them the equity shares, the certificates in the company. And the company that's raising the money, it sounds to me like you're just kind of cutting the middleman out.
Yeah, I mean, we really are. There's, I think there's like a 50-cent fee for an e-check, which is what we primarily use. But for the most part, there's absolutely no fees. And, I think it's good for a lot of different reasons, especially in Dallas. And that's the reason why we're so interested in this market here is, in Dallas, there is a probably healthy mistrust of Wall Street. A friend of mine, I always love this quote. His grandfather used to tell him this when he was growing up, whenever they talked about investments. And I guess his grandfather said, Alex, that was his name. Why would you play a game of poker when the hand is dealt on Wall Street? And, there's a lot of truth to that. Why would you, subject yourself to the political whims of Wall Street, to the fees that they're charging? Why do that if you don't have to? And the nice thing is that sites like ours are eliminating that need. Instead of having to go and play that game on Wall Street, we can play our own game right here and fund our own projects, the projects that we like, oil and gas, firearms. I mean, I like all these deals, and I don't necessarily want somebody from another state telling me what I can or can't invest in.
Okay, so somebody from across state lines can invest in this. It's not just in people, like an intrastate offering where somebody's in Texas and can only get investors from Texas residents.
Yeah, correct. Anyone can invest, and of course, it does cross state lines. I guess my point is that if you are an Idaho company, for example,
right?
You can go to Dallas and you can try to raise money, and you can go into that community. You can leverage your own community. You're not stuck having to go again to New York to get capital, or to Los Angeles, or other areas of the country. It really just kind of opens up sort of the heartland and the South and some of these cities where you've got a lot of capital, but again, not so much trust for what goes on the stock exchanges.
What else do you want to bring to the table about corporate crowdfund and the people that are using your platform?
Well, one thing that we're focusing on in the near future is going to be syndication. We're kind of using Dallas as a test market, and the plan would be to, if it goes successfully, to syndicate in other markets. We're hoping to again get out to some of the southern cities that have a great community but aren't necessarily well represented on the deal side in the Northeast. We're happy to go up to Boston, New York, and try our model out there. But the goal is to build a community, and we believe that we're well positioned to do that.
Once the equity side of this corporate crowdfund gets proven out and it's got enough success stories under its belt, I can see where municipalities of smaller rural areas would go to corporate crowdfund and use this in a very successful way too, not just private equity. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a municipality, those are easy deals to get done. I mean, people fight over them all the time on the investment banking level because, they're slam dunks. It's backed by taxpayer money, and they're always excellent deals. So again, if the state doesn't have to give up 5% or more to get those deals done, why would they?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because the taxpayers would be clamoring for it, because wait a minute, you're giving 5% of all the money we raise for that road, that bridge, this infrastructure to go on to somebody else when we could just keep it here in the community.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, more about the future. What you said, syndication. What does that mean? I mean, you're on the web. It's all over the world. People from Hong Kong can come in and look at your website. But are you talking about deals in local areas from the Boston? Is that what you meant by syndication?
Well, what I mean by syndication is people invest in companies that they know. They invest with people that they trust. And, I think that there is a local aspect to crowdfunding and a local aspect to private placements. And it's important to, get out to these markets and give some of these smaller investors a chance to invest in companies that are in their neighborhood, so to speak. And I'm not saying that they're going to be small companies. I'm not talking about, pizza shops and yogurt shops, as you said.
Right.
But there's quality companies throughout Texas. Again, there's everybody knows that there's great oil and gas deals here, but beyond that, we've got a robust corporate community, a great corporate tax rate here, and I think that it'd be great if more of the local Texas community could invest in the deals here.
I would think that we're going to be seeing a lot of, because they have these incubators, they're just popping up all over the place. And then the accelerator arm of it, where they actually introduce people to angel capital, they get them up and running, they get them their customers, and they get going. I think that that's the natural progression of people that would be, just teaming themselves to your site, especially since, the price is right. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I actually met with an incubator here in Dallas last week, Healthcare Wildcatters.
Mm-hmm.
Great group, but again, we're a great partner for them because we don't charge anything, so we're not taking money out of their pocket. Incubators, the way they're set up are usually aligned with their companies, because they're helping them to grow, they're giving them money, and we want to be on the same side there. We want to be on the same team with the issuers that are on our site.
Now, one of the things that's going to be big for a company to come and try and raise capital on your website is, are there investors there? You obviously have got connections on that side where people will come to invest in these companies. We've got about 30 seconds left. Give us just a tip of the iceberg on that.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it has to be built. We're building a community, so we would encourage anybody who's interested in the site to go on there, sign up. As I said, it takes 30 seconds. Help us build this community. Help us, create a place where investors can go to make some money, and good companies can get the capital that they need to grow.
It all starts with a good deal, though. That's what's going to bring them all in.
Of course, scammers need not apply. So we're going to do our best to keep all the cheats out. So we're also relying on the public to help us with that. So if you can help us, please do.
Good. All right. One last time. CorporateCrowdfund.com, right, Jared?
That's right.
All right. We'll be back on the other side of this break with a breakthrough company, and they've got some big news coming up. It's Doug Rink, FRTN, and we'll see you there. We'll be right back.